Hello everyone, and welcome to Down the Forest Path video blog. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about bullying and ways that you can cope if you find yourself experiencing this in your life. I suffered from quite severe bullying when I was a teenager, both physical and mental abuse at the hands of some girls who were a little bit older than me, and which has left some scars through which I've hopefully managed to work through in the years since that episode in my life. But being an author, having my own dance company, putting myself out there does open yourself up to certain criticisms, some kind, some unkind, as well as, there's no other way to put it, abuse in some shape or form, whether it's face-to-face or whether it's online through social media or whatever. If you stick your head above the parapet, expect to be shot at. However, I hope that this doesn't discourage anyone from their dreams. If they wish to be a leader in their community, if they wish to be an author, if they wish to put themselves forward in whatever way they want to, don't let fear of this stop you in any way from achieving, or at least trying to achieve your dreams. So, with the help of some friends and some own personal experience, the help and support of my family as well, I've put together a list of 10 ways that can help you survive bullying. So here they are. The first one would be, don't take it personally. Though you may be the subject, actually, it's not about you at all. It's all about them and their own insecurities, fears, and suffering. And when you can see that, you can also develop compassion for them. They are not faceless entities, even though they may have piled on you as such. These people are real, living human beings. These people are someone's son or daughter, lover, mother, father, brother, sister. They all have their own difficulties in life. They all have their own lives, their own past experiences, and their own suffering. They can have some very large misperceptions about you, and that may be all that there is to it. Whatever the case, know that you are not the cause of their suffering, but merely the subject of their misperception and subsequent projection and own personal suffering. Number 2 would be not to lash out emotionally. Disengage from the situation. Hurting someone who has hurt you only prolongs and increases the suffering in this situation and in the world. Define your boundaries so that you don't have to hopefully undergo something like this from this person again. If this means blocking the person on social media or email or avoiding them in public, then do so. If the circles that you work or live in don't allow for a full disengagement, then do what you can to not allow their misperception to invade your physical space or your mental space. Number 3, talk to and find a support network, whether that is your family or your friends. Don't encourage people to take sides and turn it into a flame war. Simply find support from them. Allow them to remind you of who you are in their eyes, what they mean to you and what you mean to them, and the difference that you make in each other's lives. And we can often forget this when we're going through an episode of bullying, we can easily get sunk into a pit of despair. We can easily fall into the trap of wondering, why me, and just allow it to crush you emotionally as well as mentally. Allow the people who are a real part of your life, who are a real part of your family and friends circle, to rekindle your sense of self and your life's meaning for them, and then find out what your life's meaning is for you, yourself. Number 4 would be work with gratitude. So after you have disengaged and hopefully found some support, take a moment to remember all the good things in your life. These will usually far outweigh the bad things that are currently happening, which can seem overwhelming at the time. So take some time to yourself, make a cup of tea, sit down in a comfortable, cozy and safe space, and take time to remember everything that you can be grateful for. Whether it's a loving family, whether it's good friends, a roof over your head, your snuggly cat, the beautiful sunshine, the nourishing rain, your heroes and heroines, or even just that delicious cup of tea. You can even make a collage of all these things to provide you with a visual reminder of everything that you have to be grateful for, and place it in a prominent place in your home where every time you pass by it, you can remember and be grateful. Number 5, talk to respected people in your community, because chances are they have probably gone through something similar. Like I said before, if you poke your head above the parapet, expect to be shot at. And while I really wish this wasn't the case in the world, unfortunately it is. And I sincerely hope that one day it will change. But for now, talk to somebody who you respect and see if they can give you any advice on getting through this situation, as they've probably been through it themselves. You don't need to give them the full details. You can just ask for some general advice on dealing with bullying and how to overcome the horrible feelings that it invokes. Number 6 is have compassion for yourself as well as for everybody involved. So acknowledge your feelings. Acknowledge your sadness, your anger, your despair. Don't try to push these feelings aside, because they'll most likely come back to haunt you in some shape or form, and usually in a very inappropriate way. So take some time and sit with your feelings and allow them to move through you so that you can let them go. And I often liken feelings to water. If it doesn't flow, it becomes stagnant. And emotion is a form of energy, so that needs to flow. Be emotionally responsible for your own feelings and know what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you. And when you can let go of what doesn't belong to you, then you can achieve a personal sovereignty. Number 7, everything is impermanent, and this is pretty much the first and foremost Buddhist teaching. What you're currently going through can seem like utter hell, but in a few days, in a few weeks, in a few months, in a year's time, where will all this be? If it helps, you can remember past difficult times and how you survived those difficult times without engaging in the feeling of suffering that this provided you. See it as a scientist would look at data. Simply look at the facts and make a conclusion based on the facts. You can look at your family tree and find out how your ancestors struggled and how they made it through. Again, your friends may help in this regard. They may have been through similar things as well and can provide you with some wisdom and some experience. So next year, where will this all be? Most likely far, far away. Remembered as an experience from which you learned how to become more resilient and compassionate. Number 8. This is an important one. You are not better than them. Often the advice given to you when you're undergoing such a horrible situation will be the words, "You're so much better than them." And this is said with love. This is said in an attempt to make you feel better. But this can also be a trap that we can fall into and that we have to be aware of. So while you may not cause the suffering and hurt in the same way that they do, you have to remember that you are not better than anyone else on this planet. As soon as you think this, you've elevated yourself above somebody else, which means that you have dehumanized them or turned them into some sort of faceless other. We have to remember that we're all in this together. Do not let ego interfere in the process. Remember who you are without any sort of ego inflation attached to that. Ego inflation tactics are temporary and in the long run can lead to very poor behavior on your part if you start believing in them. Number 9, integration. This is at the heart of Druid teachings for me. So remembering that we're all part of an ecosystem and that everybody has a role to play. And this correlates to the point which I just mentioned. Everyone has something to contribute, and from everyone a lesson can be learned to help us become better in ourselves. Not better than any other person, but better in ourselves, so that we can positively contribute and make this truly a flourishing and functional ecosystem. And lastly, endurance. And this advice was given to me by a friend who does studies in Stoicism. Treat it like an athlete treats endurance training. See it as good practice for holding on to your principles, and see it as an excellent workout for the mind and for the soul. But remember to take breathers when you choose not to engage or think about it. So do not think this is ill fortune, but to bear this worthily is good fortune. I hope these 10 tips will help you if ever you find yourself in such a situation. And if you do, remember that many other people have experienced something similar and that you are not alone. So go outside, look at the sunshine, feel the wind on your skin, look at the moon, look at the stars, hear the bird song, listen to the crickets. Notice nature all around you, and that will help you realize you are never alone. You are part of something that is truly beautiful, so do try and focus on that. And if it helps, you can have a big virtual hug from me. Thanks for listening to this video blog, and I will have the comments open on this video so that you can help share your tips for suffering from bullying. Thank you, and I hope that you'll watch again.